take me through maybe Friday's turn of events. You were committed to Bowling Green, and then all of a sudden Illinois. Why did you decide to make the switch?
Well, since February 1st, when Illinois offered me, it was like the next day I just really wanted to go there. So a month later, I asked them if I'd be able to commit like later, and they said, well, at first, because I hurt my hip during wrestling season, I hurt my hip, and they realized that I did. So they wanted an MRI of my hip, so I had to send them that. It's taken forever, and they finally got it like a week ago. They checked it in last Tuesday. And then they said I was clear on Tuesday, and I had to make the decision on Friday if I wanted to decommit to go and then go to Illinois.
Okay.
And after talking to all my parents and coaches, they said that was probably the best decision for me. So I did it.
Yeah. So why was Illinois maybe your first initial choice, and then maybe you kind of went with the backup option, I guess, afterwards?
Well, when I was talking to Lovie Smith when he pulled me aside, he said the best thing I've ever heard. He asked me how many offers I said 0 at the time, and he says, "Why is that? Why do you think?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just not big enough, I think." He said, "No, all those other colleges are dumb. We're the only one that's best for you," and that stuck with me the entire time.
That's awesome. What was it like just to hear those words from Lovey Smith? I mean, he's a big name, and for him to compliment you like that.
It was amazing. I never thought I was gonna be able to talk to Lovey that trip in February. I was just happy to be there. It was the first Power 5 junior day I was on.
Cool. Were you lucky? Do you feel lucky that you were able to get in a physical visit as opposed to maybe some of these virtual ones that some recruits are doing?
Yeah, the virtual ones are still pretty good, but the actual visit really helps to see the facilities and actually talk to the coaches in person than just talking to them on a Zoom call like this or seeing the campus on like a virtual tour. It's not as awesome as it is just to be in the facility and actually looking around and see how big it is.
Right. So how did Bowling Green take the news? Did you have to speak to their coach beforehand?
Yeah, I made sure I tell their coaches not in person, but at least call them to make sure they understood before I sent out the tweet saying that I was decommitting. I wanted to make sure me and not from a tweet.
Right. And I know you mentioned in that tweet, you said there were some personal reasons. Was there anything else besides maybe just feeling like Illinois was the better fit for you?
And no, my coach kind of yelled at me after I said that because he really liked Bowling Green. When I decommitted, he was sad, but he says, "Why'd you say personal reason?" I was like, "I didn't know what else to say, Coach." And he was like, "That did not seem like a good thing to say in that tweet." I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Well, now."
What else were you supposed to say? I'm decommitting from Bowling Green to commit to another school.
Yeah, I know. That's what my mom wanted to say. I was like, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else maybe could have been good, but
there's probably nothing else. No.
Well, I think probably a couple hours later, everyone maybe understood why that was. So I know Illinois, they are their offensive line is well known. They have an elite line over here in Champaign. How do you feel like you're going to fit in with that? And are you excited to compete for a spot at this level?
I feel like I'll be probably the best one to compete for a spot because I'm just really determined to be better than everyone else. I work hard every day on the field, off the field, to be the best person I can be. And I feel like that helps me a lot to go to a place where like this, where it has an O-line already as good as they are, to be able to have them teach me to be better.
How do you feel about having a senior season? Are you having some doubts? Are you staying positive at all?
I'm trying to stay positive. Our coach is really positive for it, but after I saw a tweet today where our governor said I'm a little scared that we might not have a fall season. It might get pushed back to the spring, but hopefully we have a fall season. Hopefully I can play with my other sports too I play.
Yeah. So you're a wrestler, and do you do anything else?
I throw shot put and track.
Awesome. How did you? Well, you didn't have a season this year, but how have you done with the shot put in the past? Have you reached?
Well, this is my first year. I played baseball the last 2 years.
Cool.
And I realized I was not as good as baseball, so I just decided to just stop playing baseball and start lifting more and just throw shot put.
Right. How, if football season, let's say hypothetically, does get moved to the spring, do you think that will affect if you play or not, with maybe some injury risks or things like that?
Probably not. I have a person right now I'm going to for O-line work. So he said he'll stay open even if Pritzker tells us he can't be. He'll just not be, but he will be, basically. So then I'm just probably go with him the entire fall, and then hopefully springtime I'll be fine, I'll be good, and I'll be able to play them.
Yeah, good stuff. So what have you been doing? I know this summer and I guess this past couple of months have been a little crazy. Is it different for you to train or any kind of other adjustments you've had to make in your everyday life?
Yeah, this is the first summer I ever wasn't able to work with my team. I'm used to always working with my team. Ever since freshman year, our coach saw me and he says, "You're not going to be practicing with the freshmen anymore. You're going to be practicing with the seniors and juniors." And it was a big thing for me. That was the first time I ever saw a massive team I was ever on. So this was kind of different for me, practicing only being able to work out with my brother in my basement.
Yeah. How old is your brother?
21. No, 22 now.
Okay. He's older. Does he play anywhere?
He played at Roosevelt for baseball, and then he stopped.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, at least you have someone to work out with, at least.
Yeah.
Even if it's in your basement. How's your relationship with Bob Mclean? Did he kind of play a big part in your recruiting process?
At the start, not really. We had Coach Price. He was a big with me, and then I don't know what happened. He moved to a different school. I don't know if he got fired or if he was his own decision. But after that, Coach Mclean stepped up and really started talking to me a lot more after he was gone.
Mm-hmm. How does it feel to stay in state, maybe represent kind of the flagship school here in Illinois?
That it feels a lot better. It's because I didn't really care where I went to college, if it was out of state, in state, but after really like committing to Illinois and then realizing I'm staying in my hometown, basically only an hour away from where I live, it's actually a big accomplishment to stay where I am, to be at the school of our state.
That's awesome. So how does your hip feel? Did you have to get surgery or anything? I mean, I know you mentioned an MRI, but what was the injury that you had and how's the recovery process been?
I had a avulsion fracture on December 26th, right the day after Christmas, which sucks, but it happened in a practice, and then that day the doctors looked at it. They took an MRI. They took an X-ray of it, and it was an avulsion fracture, which just the bone just popped out of from a tendon pressure, and they were confused how I even got it, because wrestlers shouldn't even get that. It should be like sprinters and track that should really get that, but they thought I wouldn't be able to wrestle the rest of the year. They gave me 8 weeks. They said I'll be able to recover in 8 weeks, but I said, "You're wrong. I recovered in 3 weeks, and I wrestled back in 4 weeks. And I was able to make it down to a state and place in state for wrestling."